No. The only difference between a 3-day cruise and a 7-day cruise is not just the amount of days. I wish it was that simple. The length of the cruise actually changes everything, from the vibe to the crowd to how the cruise feels overall. Let me explain. The shorter the cruise, the younger and rowdier the crowd. A 3-day weekend cruise, that is prime time young professionals looking to max out their annual leave by only taking 1 day off. Stretch that to a week or two and you're surrounded by families, maybe some honeymooners who are looking for a more relaxed pace. And you go past 2 weeks and you are deep into retiree territory. Lots of time, lots of money, and no bedtime drama because everyone chooses to be in bed by 9. And this is important because if you are looking for a quiet family getaway but you accidentally book a 3-day cruise, surprise, you have just boarded a floating frat party. Or if you are a 25-year-old looking to dance until the sunrise but you book a 2-week Alaskan escape, let's just say you will be partying solo with the Northern Lights because everyone will be in bed. So before you even think about booking, remember, the length of cruise sets the tone for your trip. Not just the cruise line, not just the ship, not just the destinations. The amount of days matter. And if all of this is a little bit confusing, don't worry, I have got something that's going to help you out. So the cruise that I recently went on the Norwegian Aqua, I actually booked through a travel agency called Cruises It. And although my cruise on Norwegian was not exactly smooth sailing, understatement of the year, Cruises It were amazing at helping me figure things out, because you might not know if you haven't watched that video, it was originally supposed to be a 7-day transatlantic to Boston and it turned into a 10-day transatlantic to New York. So hotels needed to be changed, flights needed to be changed, and as I said, Cruises It were phenomenal at helping me stay calm and also helping me just rearrange things. And due to them being so good in that situation with Norwegian and some other factors, I asked them if we could partner up so that they could help you get the most bang for your buck when it comes to booking your cruises, because they can actually beat the cruise line's pricing and sometimes unlock rates that aren't available anywhere else, even on the cruise line's own website. They can add perks like onboard credit, prepaid gratuities, speciality dining in some cases. And the best thing is they don't just book your cruise and then disappear. They will track your fare and they will adjust it if the price drops before your final payment, which is unheard of. So if you are thinking of booking a cruise, I would suggest you click the link down below and check out the Cruises It website. You might just find your next dream vacation on there for a lot less than you were expecting to pay. And also you will receive the same perks I get as well, which is amazing. So thank you to Cruises It. I'm so excited that they agreed to partner with me, and I really hope that they're able to help you with your next vacation. So how do you actually make the most of your 3-day cruise? The first thing you need to do is ask yourself the big question. How do I want to feel when I leave this cruise? Making the most of your vacation is not about doing everything. If you try to cram everything in, you're going to end up needing a vacation from your vacation. Trust me, I've been there, massaging my stress headache in the spa that I booked to relax because I'm so stressed that I've got to get to this next activity. So set your intention early. Do you want to come off feeling rested, energized, social, sun-kissed? When I cruised on Virgin at the end of last year, I wanted to party, honestly, because I don't party at home. So I wanted to have a good time. But when I went on Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas at the end of last year, I wanted to chill. I wanted to eat nachos, I wanted to take naps. So think, are you overworked and you're craving peace and tranquility? Or are you bored stiff and you need some karaoke, cocktails, you need to make new friends, mingle? Because I have found that very few people book or plan their vacation with this in mind. But once I started doing this for myself, it was honestly a game changer. So once you have asked yourself this and you know how you would make the most of your cruise, because it's going to be different for everyone, right? Then you can start looking at the daily schedule and having a think about the things you want to do while you're on board, based on how you want to feel when you disembark the cruise ship. Now, one of the best things about cruising is how flexible it is. You can be a meticulous planner, or you can just go with the flow because everything is in the same vicinity. Personally, I'm not a huge planner. I do like to just follow my nose. Eat when I want to eat, sleep when I want to sleep, read when I want to read. But even for me, I know that a little structure makes a huge difference on a shorter cruise. So I have found that the best way to make the most of a short cruise is to have a loose plan in place. So here's what I do. Before I board, I check out the cruise line's app and look at the daily schedule and pick out a few things that I want to do while I'm on board based on how I want to feel when I disembark. Most cruise lines release their daily planners for your cruise a few days to a week before the actual cruise starts. However, some cruise lines do only release the daily schedule once you are on board and connected to the ship's Wi-Fi. Now, I am dyslexic, so I find cruise ship planners really overwhelming. It's a lot of letters in a very small space. So if I can do this before the cruise, I like to look through it at my leisure and jot down 2 or 3 things per day that stand out to me. So in my notes app on my phone, I'll have day 1, day 2, day 3, maybe day 4, and I will have 2 or 3 things for each day that I've seen on the daily schedule that I'm like, yes, I would like to do those things because doing those things will help me feel relaxed. That way, I don't get overwhelmed when I'm on board and I'm looking at the cruise ship planner and there's 72 things to do an hour. And also, if you haven't gone on board with an intention, it can be easy to just go with the flow. So let's say you're cruising with a friend and you haven't picked out the things that you want to do and your friend's like, well, I want to go here, so let's just do that. You end up, or you can end up, just being led, and then you're not going to end the cruise feeling the way that you want to feel. But anyway, once I have got my notes app list of, let's say, 3 activities per day, whether it's a show, whether it's, I don't know, the belly flop competition or line dancing or a fitness class, I now roughly know when my free time is going to be. So that's when I'll also add to the list something like lie by the pool and read my book, because I know that if I got off the cruise having not lay by the pool and read my book, I'd be a little bit disappointed. So just putting that in my day 2 list. I don't need to put a time by it if I don't want to, but it just reminds me that, like, oh, that is something that I wanted to do while I was on board this cruise. So now once you've got your little notes app itinerary, it's time to lock in the good stuff. Book your shows and activities as early as you can, so make sure you are on that app, make sure you are checking and you can book things in, because it's always better to be booked in and then decide at the time that you don't want to go than not book in and be disappointed that you're missing out on something that could have been great. You also want to reserve your speciality restaurants in advance as well, especially if there's one that you have been drooling over. Because realistically, on a short cruise, you're not going to have time to eat everywhere. So I do recommend going on Cruise Critic or the cruise line's websites, looking at the eateries they have on offer on board and choosing where you want to eat most. But if you can't access the app before boarding, don't panic. It just means that once you get on board, this needs to be your first mission before you do anything else. So when I cruised on Virgin Voyages last year, I could not access the app before I got on board. Therefore, I hadn't booked in any shows, I hadn't booked in any restaurants. So I walked straight past the pool and went straight to Razzle Dazzle, where I knew that they were doing restaurant reservations. Now that you've got everything locked in, you can actually relax, knowing that if you only do the things that you've got listed on your notes app, you are going to walk off that cruise ship feeling rested, recharged and re-energized, or whatever your goal was. But the beauty is you don't have to follow your schedule. If you get on board and you decide, actually on day 2, I don't want to lie by the pool and read my book, I want to go to the trivia, great, do it. Or maybe on your notes app you had planned to get off in whatever port you were visiting and go to a museum or a restaurant, and actually the day comes and you decide that you do just want to stay on board and lie by the pool. And another perk of making this little loose schedule is the packing. If you're aiming to take just hand luggage, which a lot of people who go on 3-day cruises are, knowing how you're going to spend your time on board means you won't overpack. For example, if you look at your little notes app schedule and you're like, oh, okay, so basically I'm going to be laid by the pool the whole time and going to restaurants. Well, you know what to pack for. You need your bikini and a few outfits to go to dinner. So this is how you make the most of a 3-day cruise or a short cruise. If you plan this right, and you come off this cruise feeling exactly how you wanted to feel, a short cruise can actually be more refreshing than a week or a 2-week vacation. But with that being said, if you want to book your own 3-day cruise, make sure you check out the link below, check out Cruises It, and they will help you book your dream 3-day vacation. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have taken something from this video. And if you have, please press the like button and consider subscribing if you are not already. I hope you have had a fabulous weekend. I hope you have an even better week ahead, and I will see you in the next video.